Lady Gaga, really not an artist that you need to introduce at this point. Truly one of the biggest names in music of the past 10 years, even in the history of pop music. She's definitely up there as one of the all-time most recognizable faces and names, most recognizable hits in pop music. She has been just gigantic. You could certainly argue that in the second half of this decade, this past decade should I say, she hasn't been such a huge wrecking ball in the world of pop music. She's definitely been taken over by some more recognizable names and bigger artists such as Ariana Grande, who is on this album. But it doesn't really matter because an artist like Lady Gaga never really loses that force, kind of in the same way like someone like Taylor Swift, you know, even if they're not putting out hit after hit, number one after number one, they're still so huge. I've always found Lady Gaga to be fairly versatile, even if I've never really found myself loving a full album from her. I don't really feel like she's ever hit it out of the park with a full-length studio album, to be honest. I know some may disagree, but she generally is an artist that tends to have some really good hits. And this album, I think, provides that very same description there, although I do think overall it's pretty good, but not really sure if this is the album that I was quite expecting based on the singles. I mean, it's giving you exactly what the singles gave you, but I was just expecting a little bit more variety and versatility to what she usually brings. You're not usually getting such a, I guess, homogenous sound across the entire album from Lady Gaga. I mean, usually her singles are very diverse, you know, there's always such a diverse sound palette in her music, and this album here doesn't really provide that. Often with Chromatica, you're bumping into one song that the previous song was offering a very similar thing, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, to be fair, because I'd say most of this album really works for what it's going for. Just some really high energy, just I guess bombastic pop tunes that are clearly ready-made for the club, which I do feel as though is fairly unfortunate for her, and as well as her, I'd say Dua Lipa, who both released these really full dance pop albums in a time where you can't really go to a club and just enjoy this and dance to the music. So I feel as though in a way this album could suffer from that. By that same standard though, you could just be sticking on an album like this during a very weird and strange and confusing time and just kind of forget everything that's going on and just enjoy the fun pop music that you're being given. What tends to hold this album back occasionally are the lyrics. I do feel like there are some odd lyrical choices. You're not really getting that much of an emotional pull to this from this album, which again I think is something that's lacking here in comparison to even her last album, Joanne, which I thought had quite a few tracks that felt more heartfelt from her. I think tracks like Alice don't really provide that much with lyrics, but then again, the tune itself is pretty good. So I suppose you could argue that you're not really meant to be listening to something like this for the lyrics themselves. A track like Fun Tonight is just generic. It's just generic, man. I mean, the album's already providing you with fun, so I don't really feel like you need these very on-the-nose lyrics that aren't really adding anything to the song here. And then Sour Candy? Sour Candy, the lyrics here. You also get these weird random moments on the album too, where on Sign From Above, it ends with this 10 to 15 second drum and bass section, which sounds really cool, but why did you just throw it at the end? I don't really know. And then on 911, the vocals, just really robotic and strange, just seems like an odd choice. Even with those stranger moments that do kind of make me question what the artistic intent was behind them, I wouldn't really say much of this album has a lot of those moments, to be fair. I mean, Free Woman, it certainly sounds like early 2010s, David Guetta type pop music, to be honest, but even with it sounding a bit dated and a bit not with the time, I don't really think it sounds particularly bad. In fact, it's a pretty good track overall. That's the one thing with this album actually that impresses me the most, with how familiar it all sounds, how general it kind of sounds. There's nothing really out of the ordinary here. And yet she is kind of making it work, and I think it is the fact that her performances just bring so much energy. She has so much sass in her delivery as well, especially on a track like Babylon. You're just getting a performer here that's really selling these songs. And yeah, like it really just does remind me when I was back at school and all the songs I'd hear on the radio. Like it's kind of impressive to me how it does sound so familiar, and yet she is bringing something here that is pretty enjoyable for the most part. She has always been someone that's been looked at as an innovator in pop music in the modern day, and while I don't think all of her songs really provide that, I would say there are a decent amount of her songs in her back catalogue that really do show that someone that can bring some weird quirkiness to pop music on tracks like Bad Romance, for example, can make it work and can sell it in a way that is marketable for a huge audience. But that same artist here isn't really bringing that, and yet she is, for the most part, making it work, to be honest. I think Rain on Me, by far the highlight of this album, just really goes to show that you can make this really over-the-top, bouncy summer anthem, and you can make it work even again if it isn't the most original sounding song you'll hear. But my God, I don't really care if I'm going to be hearing this for the next 3 to 4 months wherever I'm out and about and hearing it on the radio or a party. If parties are going to be happening anytime soon, that's probably not, that won't be a thing, I don't think. Maybe that's too optimistic, but I don't know, maybe in Tesco when I'm picking up some toothpaste, I hear it, I won't mind. So yeah, overall it works for what it is. I think under the wrong hands, you know, handled by someone who isn't quite as capable of a performer as Lady Gaga, yeah, you could get a really, really boring, generic, stale album with this kind of production. But you know what, it doesn't actually run on too long. I think the songs themselves work for the most part. Tracks like Enigma, I just think have some really strong vocal performances. Yeah, I think, sure, I could totally imagine someone thinking this as being a bad album, and that's fine. But I think for me, it's pretty good. 6 out of 10 from me. That is what I think of this album. Sorry if this review is a bit scattered, a bit all over the place. I hope it didn't come across as messy, but it sort of feels like it is in my head. But maybe it's not, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this album here. Thank you for watching. Comment, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. Yes, and goodbye.